possible.
The Catholic Current, bringing Christ to the world and the world to Christ.
I think we have to go into prayer knowing that we're being contested for.
Oh, yes. If we didn't have guardian angels guarding us, we would be suckers and losers infallibly to immensely superior forces. The devil's terrified of prayer.
The Catholic Current, 5 p.m. Eastern, from the Station of the Cross and on the iCatholic Radio mobile app.
The church has always taught that every soul receives all the graces they need for salvation. Every soul. Every soul. And so what is mercy? Mercy, Jesus Christ, number one, is mercy incarnate. He is mercy himself. Mercy is to forgive those who don't deserve to be forgiven. Mercy is to forgive those who deserve to be condemned by their sins. Mercy is to forgive those who crucify you, who spit on you, mock you, crown you with thorns. When the human race reached the lowest point ever, when our Lord was betrayed for 30 pieces of silver, how did he respond? With mercy.
That's Sermons for Everyday Living, weekdays from 6 to 7 a.m. Eastern on the Station of the Cross.
The Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network presents Saints and Seasons. On February 5th, we celebrate the feast of St. Agatha, Virgin and Martyr. Agatha was born to a wealthy noble family in Sicily around the year 230. The cities of Catania and Palermo both claim to be her birthplace. Agatha had consecrated her virginity to Christ, but during the Decian persecution in the year of our Lord 251, her beauty attracted the nefarious attention of Quintianus, the Roman governor. He had Agatha sent to a brothel in the hope of weakening her resolve against his advances. But the young virgin maintained her faith and chastity, and the frustrated governor first imprisoned her and then ordered her tortured. Agatha was stretched on the rack and scorched with hot irons, but she remained steadfast, and Quintianus angrily ordered that her breasts be cut off. Thrown back into prison, Agatha was consoled by a vision of St. Peter himself, who healed her wounds. The confounded governor had Agatha thrown onto hot coals and shards of pottery, after which lengthy torture she finally expired and received her heavenly crown, as an earthquake shook the city. Due to her tortures, she is a patroness of wet nurses, those who make or ring bells, and against breast cancer, and she is named in the canon of the Mass. Also honored on this day are Saint Avitus of Vienne, the birthday into heaven of Saint Paul Miki and the martyrs of Nagasaki, and many other martyrs, confessors, and holy virgins. For more about the saints and seasons of the Catholic Church, visit thestationofthecross.com/saints and seasons.
Join the Station of the Cross every Saturday morning at 9 after the 8 a.m. Holy Mass and Sunday afternoons at 2 for a teaching episode on the Catechism of the Catholic Church. You'll learn the essential and fundamental content of our Catholic faith and morals in a complete and concise way with clarity and charity. That's Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 2 here on the Station of the Cross, Catholic Media Network, and the free iCatholic Radio mobile app.
Catholic radio has just been a lifesaver for me. I still listen to it every day. I start my day with it. I listen to it all day long as much as I can. I am very grateful for it.
It's just an amazing thing to have, as I am new to Catholicism. Obviously, it's not only helping me, but it's helping so many other people on their walk.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Donate today at thestationofthecross.com.
This is Jim Havens. Thank you for listening to the Station of the Cross, proclaiming the fullness of truth with clarity and charity.
Heard around the world on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Go into the world and tell every man that you meet, there is a man on the cross.
A Catholic take. What you need to know right now. A bold synthesis of inspiration and information. Keeping you up to date on the news and issues from a courageous Catholic perspective.
A Catholic Take with Joe McClain starts now.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain. Praise be to God. It's good to be on with you. Today, we're going to be talking about a potential showdown at the Vatican between the Society of St. Pius X, His Holiness Pope Leo, because we've learned some new information since we talked about it last on, I guess it was Monday when we discussed this. The breaking news over the weekend was they were going to consecrate bishops come July the 1st, even if it meant no permission was coming from the Vatican. Is it a replay of 1988 under Archbishop Lefebvre? Well, we are learning now because there was a conversation that was published, an interview with the Superior General, and he elaborated more on the kinds of communications that he's had with the Vatican prior to this moment. In fact, what we're seeing is he wanted to meet with His Holiness Pope Leo. He still does want to meet with His Holiness Pope Leo to discuss it, but Pope Leo is instead sending him to Cardinal Fernandez. And this is what we are hearing. It says, quote, "It seems extremely important to me to be able to speak with the Holy Father, and there are many things I would be happy to share with him that I haven't been able to write down. Unfortunately, the response I received from Cardinal Fernandez does not provide an audience with the Pope. Instead, it mentions the threat of further sanctions." Maybe they just need to say, hey, this is Father Jamie Martin. Can I get an audience with the Pope? Well, of course you can. Hey, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can I get an audience with the Pope? Well, absolutely. You know, this leads a lot of, I would say, well-intended faithful Catholics who have nothing to do whatsoever with SSPX, like myself, to wonder, golly gee whiz, it seems like the Vatican is far more tolerable of what's going down in Germany with their, quote, aims to reshape the ecclesial hierarchy and reinvent doctrine, openly challenging Rome's silent disapproval, close quote. They seem far more tolerant of that than they are with the society wanting to consecrate new bishops to preserve their order. But as they claim, they're doing so not for themselves, but for the service of Holy Mother Church and to the Pope himself. They see themselves in service to the Holy Father. So we're going to talk about that today. Nicholas Cavazos is going to be on the team from the Traditional Thomist podcast. In fact, Nicholas is going to be on almost all hour because in addition to talking about the SSPX, and I will be linking to all of this in the show notes, there's a great article over crisismagazine.com. Gen Z rebels against gay acceptance. Is Gen Z the generation that turns things around in the United States in particular, but maybe around the world? Are they fed up? Did you know that it's Gen Z that has the highest church attendance rate right now of all the generations? Boomers are declining, obviously, with age. Gen Zs are growing. Nicholas Cavazos will weigh in on that, plus the story with the Society of St. Pius X, all this hour. Again, we're going to put the links to the show notes. All that will be up at the top of the hour at thestationofthecross.com/ACT. You can listen live. You can get the podcast. You can be part of the conversation and so much more. Thestationofthecross.com/ACT. Let's get after it. Do share us with a friend. I'd be grateful. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thine intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and now your saint of the day.
Saint Agatha, pray for us. Agatha was born to a wealthy noble family in Sicily around the year 230. The cities of Catania and Palermo both claimed to be her birthplace. Agatha had consecrated her virginity to Christ, but during the Decian persecution in the year of our Lord 251, her beauty attracted the nefarious attention of Quintanius, the Roman governor. He had Agatha sent to a brothel in the hope of weakening her resolve against his advances, but the young virgin maintained her faith and chastity, and the frustrated governor first imprisoned her and then ordered her tortured. Agatha was stretched on the rack and scorched with hot irons, but she remained steadfast, and Quintianus angrily ordered that her breasts be cut off. Thrown back into prison, Agatha was consoled by a vision of St. Peter himself, who healed her wounds. The confounded governor had Agatha thrown onto hot coals and shards of pottery, after which lengthy torture she finally expired and received her heavenly crown as an earthquake shook the city. Due to her tortures, she is a patroness of wet nurses, those who make or ring bells, and against breast cancer, and she is named in the canon of the Mass. For more about the saints and seasons of the Catholic Church, visit thestationofthecross.com/saints and seasons. Saint Agatha, pray for us.
And now your headline news. Savannah Guthrie pleads for mom's return in a potential kidnapping case. On Wednesday, Savannah Guthrie, co-host of the Today Show on NBC, flanked by her siblings, appeared in a video pleading for proof that their mother, Nancy Guthrie, is alive, asking whoever has her to bring her home. Relatives who visited Nancy Guthrie's home last week found her belongings and called 911, while the sheriff said he believed she was taken against her will. The FBI said agents were reviewing cell phone and tower data as about 100 detectives from the Pima County Sheriff's Department worked hundreds of tips, and authorities offered a $2,500 reward. Just the News reports FBI finds illegal biolab in Las Vegas tied to China. FBI and Las Vegas police raided a northeast Las Vegas home last weekend, discovering refrigerators containing over 1,000 vials of unknown liquids and lab equipment in a locked garage. The property manager was arrested on hazardous waste and illegal firearms charges, while the property owner remains a Chinese national in federal custody from a 2023 unauthorized California biolab case. And Zeal reports Israeli airstrikes reportedly kill at least 21 in Gaza. Israeli tank shelling and airstrikes on Gaza yesterday reportedly killed at least 21 Palestinians, including 2 infants. The dead included 5 children, among them a 5-month-old and a 10-day-old baby, as well as 7 women and a paramedic. God rest their souls. And those are your headline news. The gospel today comes to us from the 1962 Missal, Matthew chapter 19, verses 3 through 12. And there came to him the Pharisees, tempting him, and saying, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Who answering said to them, Have you not read that he who made man from the beginning made them male and female? And he said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be in one flesh. Therefore now they are not two, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. They say to him, Why then did Moses command to give a bill of divorce and to put away? And he saith to them, Because Moses, by reason of the hardness of your heart, permitted you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, shall marry another, committeth adultery. And he that shall marry her that is put away committeth adultery. His disciples say unto him, If the case of a man with his wife be so, it is not expedient to marry. Who said to them, All men take not this word, but they to whom it is given. For there are eunuchs who were born so from their mother's womb, and there are eunuchs who are made so by men, and there are eunuchs who have been made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven. He that can take, let him take it. The Gospel of the Lord. Laus tibi Christi. Cornelius a Lapide in the Great Commentary would say, there is a twofold reason by which Christ proves that a man ought not to put away his wife. Number one, a man's putting away his wife is contrary to nature, just as it is contrary to nature that one flesh and one man should be divided into two. Secondly, this divorce is contrary to the ordinance of God. If therefore it be done, it is done impiously, because what God hath joined together is torn asunder. Who dares to annul what God has sanctioned? Who dares to divide what God has united? Who dares to mutilate the work of God, the Creator, to tear asunder one man? Cornelius goes on. God, who is the Lord of nature and of marriage and of our bodies, so ordained at the very beginning of the world and gave the right and use of our bodies only in the union of wedlock. And if we use them in any other way, we abuse our bodies contrary to the will of God, who is the supreme Lord, and contrary to the law which he has ordained. Moreover, the end and the cause why God ordained this absolute indissolubility of marriage is, well, number one, that there may be closer union and greater mutual love between those who are married. Number two, for the sake of the better bringing up of children. And the third reason is an allegorical one, because marriage is a type and figure of the indissoluble union of the divine word with our flesh, and through it with the church. God has spoken. May we be obedient to it. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
iCatholic Mobile is a proud sponsor of the Station of the Cross. Your cellular service should work when you need it. Dependable calls, reliable data, and customer service you can count on. iCatholic Mobile provides nationwide 5G service, unlimited talk and text, and free roaming in Canada and Mexico. And every plan helps sustain the Station of the Cross, keeping faith-filled programming on the air. More info at iCatholicMobile.com.
Hear what our listeners are saying about the regularly updated iCatholic Radio mobile app.
iCatholic Radio is the most truthful and important site that any of us could ever listen to today. We get the truth. We get good people telling us what is going on in the world. Thank you so much. It's a gift from God.
Download the free iCatholic Radio mobile app today on your Android or Apple mobile device.
A prayer to the Sacred Heart that St. Gertrude the Great wrote. I salute thee, O Sacred Heart of Jesus, living and vivifying source of eternal life, infinite treasure of the divinity, ardent furnace of divine love. Thou art the place of my repose and my refuge. Enkindle in my heart the fire of that ardent love with which thine own is inflamed. Pour into my heart the great graces of which thine is the source, and grant that my heart may be so closely united to thine, that thy will may be mine, and that my will may be eternally conformed to thine, since I desire that henceforth thy holy will may be the rule of all my desires and all my actions. Amen.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you. Coming up at the next segment, we're going to be jumping into the SSPX Showdown at the Vatican. Turns out that the Superior General has been asking for a meeting with Pope Leo. Instead, he's getting Cardinal Fernandez. Well, gee whiz, what could go wrong? We'll talk more about that coming up in the next segment. But there was a great article over at crisismagazine.com. Gen Z rebels against gay acceptance. Could Gen Z be the generation that turns it all around? Could we overturn Obergefell with Gen Z? I'm not sure. I'm not sold on it, but here to discuss it from the Traditional Thomas podcast, our good friend of the show, Nicholas Cavazos. Good afternoon, Nicholas. Thanks for being on the team.
Good afternoon, my friends. Nice to be with you when we don't have to get up so early. So thanks for having me on.
Come on. Real men get out of bed at 4 a.m., right? I mean, that's true universally. It's natural law.
I mean, if you say so.
Let's talk about natural law then, with the whole gay Gen Z thing. The rainbow ideology. Is Gen Z fed up with it? It seems like, according to the article and recent surveys, Gen Z goes to church more often than any other generation right now. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's been a lot of debate about how right-wing Gen Z is, and I definitely think that there's truths and falsehoods in this that might end up leading us to an uncomfortable, maybe civil situation down the line in the context of U.S. politics. Gen Z young men are definitely very right-wing in a general sense, and so this is where maybe some polls are leaning in the context of being anti-homosexuality, anti-transgenderism, etc. But of course, when it comes to the ladies are as leftist as you can get at the moment. So it's somewhat divided. But I would say that Gen Z, because we grew up in kind of a post-Obergefell world, we are a bit more, I would say, fed up with the kind of constant push for gay pride everywhere. You know, one could, of course, make the political argument back in, 2007. Oh, look, these people are being oppressed. We got to celebrate their actions. Of course, I don't agree with that, but of course, that argument could have been made back then. Today, however, you have kids growing up in schools and pride parades take place in schools. And so the edgy thing to do for young whippersnappers, as you would call them, is to be against what's going on these days. And so I'm, of course, happy for it. I want America to be a Christian nation. And of course, for us to be well ordered toward God, we actually have to accept his both divinely given law and his natural law. So let's hope good things are down the pike for us.
So are you suggesting then that they're leaning this way, not out of principle, out of what is true, good, and beautiful, but rather because of just fatigue?
I would say, yeah, it's a mix. One thing I mentioned the other day on one of my shows is that America right now has a mix between what I call the Christian right and the pagan right. What I mean by that is that there are some individuals like us who would say this is wrong for a plethora of reasons. It violates God's law, it violates the natural law, it's harmful for society, etc. And then there are individuals who are not Christian, who I call the pagan right. These are maybe individuals who are on the extreme right of politics, who in some form or fashion, they oppose homosexuality maybe for pragmatic reasons. It destroys the social fabric of the nation, which I would agree with. However, they're not going to liken it to God. They're not going to root it in Christianity. They're going to root it in some type of, let's just say, the deification of the state in some form or fashion, or the deification of some political ideology. And so I would say it's split in that regards. I know individuals on both sides of the spectrum.
The article says that, and you pointed this out a minute ago, it says that young Americans, especially young women, have grown far more accepting of gay people and their lifestyles. A 2024 nationwide survey found that 8 in 10 respondents now say they approve of gay, lesbian, or bisexual individuals living their lives as they wish. It says, while the live and let live philosophy remains popular, Times author uncovers how the tide is turning among those under 25, signaling readjustment that could radically reshape politics and culture in the years ahead. To boot, the Public Religion Research Institute conducted a survey in 2024 suggesting that support for LGBTQ plus non-discrimination laws and same-sex marriage among 18 to 29-year-olds has steadily declined over the past decade, down from the early 2020s high and continuing to drift lower. I guess my question is, why are women in this same category so contrasted to their own generation? What's with the women?
I would say it first starts in the ontological difference between men and women. Women are generally more accepting. They're more community oriented than men. Men are a lot more skeptical and protective. And this is just the way that God made us. And of course, these things can be ordered toward virtue or ordered toward vice, depending on the context. So I would say you have to start there. Women are generally more open to seeing individuals come from different perspectives. But that being the case, though, I would say young women especially, they have been very much so inundated with a lot of nasty ideologies that are contrary to the Christian faith. Of course, we talk about feminism quite a bit, leftism. But I would say that a lot of this, where it's coming from, is just kind of an overall pushing back against what is perceived of as the traditional patriarchal order, if you will, of social conduct inside of the United States of America, which is quite tragic. I think a lot of this is rooted in the fact, as I've described it before on my show, that young people, for instance, you can talk about this in the context of dating, but you can apply this to this situation as well, that a lot of young people, the image of romance or the image of life's fulfillment is portrayed in old Disney films. You know, Gen Z grows up on old Disney films thinking like this is what love is, this is what acceptance is. And of course, while there's nothing wrong with romantic love, we know that that's not a one-for-one example of what love is, whether that be Christian love or even realistic romantic love. But then they grow up in this world where, let's be honest, a fair amount of couples are fighting, a fair amount of couples are engaging in divorce. And so things like marriage and stability and family and fatherhood and motherhood become much more fluid and open up to definitional change. And so that's why you can change the definition of marriage. You can change the definition of human gender. And so I think a lot of women, because of their, let's just say the fluidity of society these days, it's more easy for them to go along with it. Whereas by contrast, a lot of young men, we're wanting to root ourselves in something eternal, something that we can kind of give our lives to and have a mission towards. And that's one reason why you see so many young guys turning back toward religion.
So will we see Gen Z help to overturn Obergefell? I guess more importantly, is it possible to overturn Obergefell?
Of course it is. The Supreme Court is definitely not the eternal law of God. We've seen some big court cases throughout the years that have been overturned. Will Gen Z be the ones to do it? Only if it be God's providence and if he gives us the grace to do it. It might be Gen Z with the help of Gen Alpha. You would be surprised. Gen Alpha in some senses is more right-wing than Gen Z, which could actually be kind of concerning. But we'll see. I think that in general, what you will see going forward in the political future is a lot of what people think are settled political questions will again, they're already resurfacing in young conversations about politics, but they will resurface on a national spectrum. And so it'll be things along the nature of, as an example, this week we've been debating about the SAVE Act in Congress, but it will be things about, should we have tighter voting restrictions? Who should we allow to vote? Who should we be, who is a true American? What is an American by definition? And also, what is marriage? Why should we say that two men can get married if in reality it's ontologically against the natural law and it's not actually benefiting society? And why did our ancestors allow this stuff to take place? There was no real reason aside from just, we don't want drama. So these types of questions will be addressed, I hope, by my generation. Hopefully we'll have some good answers that come out of it.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but I think I saw this yesterday. The Pentagon has told the Boy Scouts either revert back to your old principles away from this DEI woke ideology that they've embraced over the last 10 years, or they will lose support. It seems like under the Trump administration, with the Department of War now really coming out against DEI, they've really set a standard now. Do you think it's possible? Is this an indicator that all of society is swinging hard that other way? Are we kind of done with the car companies, the beer companies, Target, and all these companies shoving it down our throats? Has that ship sailed?
It really does depend upon where the majority of human families in the United States go. The government can only do so much, and beer companies and car companies can only do so much. Really, where culture is formulated is going to be the family. And so I would say the move by the Trump administration, it's a great move. The fact that they don't even call it the Boy Scouts anymore, they just call it the Scouts and it's open for everybody, is already an indication of how bad things have gone. And so I'm glad that they want them to return to some type of sane moral principle. That being the case, though, because of the just Hamiltonian, Lincolnian world that we live in, the reality of the situation is if you have another president come in there, he can just reverse a lot of these things. That's why you have to have some type of moral grounding and cultural grounding that can actually push back against this, so that if you do get a crazy president, you'll have a good moral majority, if you will, that can say, no, we have to resist this type of mentality. And so this is why the church needs to focus in on true evangelization, preaching the gospel of Christ, rather than getting involved in leftist wedge issues.
Well, let's talk about the SAVE Act before we run out of time. Still a couple of minutes left before the break. The SAVE Act is going through Congress right now. You think there's support for it? I guess, A, define what it is. B, do you think there's support for it? And I guess the Democrats don't want this, do they?
They don't. The SAVE Act is essentially an act that will demand both photo ID and proof of citizenship in order to vote, which is something the vast majority of Americans support. 95% of Republicans support it, 71% of Democrats support it. I think it's around 82% of independents support it. So it has massive bipartisan support. However, will it pass? The question will be will Senator Thune get rid of the filibuster in the Senate? And will it pass through the Senate? The House, it definitely looks like a shoo-in, but the Senate is still up in arms. We had Chuck Schumer come out the other day and say to a reporter from MSNBC, why are you not going to push forward this, even though the majority of Democratic voters want this? And his exact response was, quote, "This is Jim Crow 2.0. This is what white people did to blacks in the South." And my response to this was either A, you're retarded, or B, your listeners are retarded, because it doesn't actually make any sense what you're saying. It's truly an indictment on our public school system and an indictment on the history departments, especially the fact that he can say these things and try to liken those two things. It's completely apples and oranges.
It is bizarre. It pass? I was just at the DMV yesterday, filled with people of all tones of color, race, creeds, every background. They're all there. I don't understand how those people were there if they didn't have driver's licenses or IDs.
Exactly. It's one of those things that's just truly insulting. But the real reason why they don't want it to pass is because they know, especially if we do a mid-decade census, that what will end up happening is the Democrats will lose quite a bit of votes, a lot of electoral power, and a lot of congressional power down the line. That's the real reason they don't want stuff like this to pass.
All right, hold that thought. Nicholas Cavazos from the Traditional Thomist podcast and the American Nationalist at Pelican Plus. We're going to be coming after the break. We're going to get into the story of the Society of St. Pius X and the Vatican. There's going to be a showdown, it would seem. As far as next week goes, we know that Cardinal Fernandez is due to meet with the Superior General, even though the Superior General really wants to meet with Pope Leo and has been asking for it, but has got nothing but silence on that point. Why is that? We're asking the question, even though I have nothing to do with the Society of Pius X. I don't go there. I don't necessarily support them, but good Catholics and good faith are asking questions next.
Have you ever dialogued with someone who espouses relativism, which says there is no truth, or it might be true for you, but not for me? It's pretty frustrating. Deep down, we know these claims are false, but we often don't know why. Here's the reason. To say there is no truth is a contradiction. The assertion is tantamount to saying it's true that there is no truth. Plain absurdity. Now, the other position, there is no absolute truth, just truth relative to the individual set of beliefs, is problematic as well. The usage of the verb is implies an assertion about the objective order of things. It's the same thing as saying it's absolutely true that there is no absolute truth, which of course is a contradiction. No matter how the relativist slices the pie, he ends up with a contradiction, making relativism an unreasonable worldview. I'm Carlo Broussard with a ready reason for Catholic Answers, Catholic.com.
Catholic radio has just been a lifesaver for me. I still listen to it every day. I start my day with it. I listen to it all day long as much as I can. I am very grateful for it.
It's just an amazing thing to have, as I am new to Catholicism. Obviously, it's not only helping me, but it's helping so many other people on their walk.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Donate today at thestationofthecross.com.
The Station of the Cross began broadcasting in Buffalo, New York in 1999. Since then, our listening areas have multiplied and expanded into several states. While our mission is to grow the Catholic faith through radio and other media outlets, our apostolate is supportive of but independent from your local diocese. Through your generosity, we are able to inspire countless listeners with the gospel and help lead them to a parish to be spiritually nourished by the sacraments.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McLean, and here are your headline news. Ground News reports Justice Department under scrutiny for revealing victim info in the Epstein file dump. The Justice Department improperly released identifying information about Jeffrey Epstein's victims and concealed the names of potential enablers when disclosing over 3 million documents related to the case last week. Some redacted emails suggest certain individuals may have aided Epstein's sexual exploitations of minors. Epstein survivors criticized the DOJ's handling of the file release, with one survivor saying her personal details were exposed, and another noting pages of victim statements were heavily redacted. The Associated Press reports U.S. weekly jobless claims increase more than expected. The U.S. Labor Department said applications for jobless aid for the week ending January 31st rose to 231,000, exceeding the forecast of 212,000. Mounting layoffs, tariffs, and AI uncertainty have weighed on hiring, and businesses and government agencies posted to 7.4 million open jobs. The January jobs report was delayed due to the partial government shutdown, and the unemployment rate is forecast for 4.4%, which could prompt the Federal Reserve to keep rates steady at 3.5 to 3.75%. And Zeal reports students ask Notre Dame to remove pro-abortion professor. In a letter published on February the 3rd in The Observer, the campus student newspaper, the executive board of Notre Dame's Right to Life called on university administrators to immediately rescind the appointment of pro-abortion associate professor Susan Osterman as director of the Liu Institute for Asia and Asian Studies. Let's pray that they do that. And those are your headline news. Praise be to God in all things. Let's talk about the SSPX again. We talked about it on Monday, and I told you that I would update you when we had more information. Well, it's come out because there's been an interview published with the Superior General. And in the interview, we have learned that he was asking for the last many months to meet with His Holiness Pope Leo to have a face-to-face conversation. And he's not been given it. He's received silence on that point. In fact, now, because they've made this public that they're going to consecrate bishops, now it's Cardinal Fernandez. No mention of meeting with His Holiness Pope Leo. I want to get into this conversation with Nicholas Cavazos. Before I do, though, let's dispel with one talking point, and that is the schism issue. Have a listen to what Father Gerald Murray, canon lawyer, has to say about whether or not the SSPX is in schism. And this comes from a video from our good friend Rudy Carlos at Ask a Priest Live. We'll link to it for you in the show notes at the top of the hour. Have a listen.
We have the definitive answer. Is the SSPX in schism? A lot of people are asking this.
Well, this is a very good question and a burning question for many people. And it's a question where there are disputes, but let me shed some light on it. In answer to the basic question, is the Society of St. Pius X, founded by Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, in schism? And the answer is no.
You may have heard the news.
We'll link to the whole video for you in the show notes. But again, Nicholas Cavazos is on the team from the Traditional Thomist. Nicholas, good afternoon again. So the SSPX in the news, we've kind of been waiting for this, this announcement. We've all thought at any point, at any day now, they're going to tell us they're going to consecrate new bishops, especially after 2 of their bishops have passed away, now down to just 2 left. What are your initial thoughts about this whole story here, about the SSPX wanting to consecrate additional bishops come July 1st?
Well, whenever I heard it come out, I thought to myself, it's about time, just because there's been, over the last 2 years especially, so much, supposed leaks and, things along that nature of, that's going to happen, and nothing ever happened. But it's something that makes sense, at least for their order, that they would try to push forward because, of course, in Catholic sacramental theology, you need bishops in order to consecrate more priests and confirm lay people. So on a pragmatic level, it makes sense. The thing which I found really annoying was 2 things. Number one, how the entire Catholic world basically all of a sudden became canon lawyer experts overnight. And we're all giving their own definitive answers about whether or not the SSPX was in schism or not. And then the second thing was I would say, abundant blind spots that the average Catholic, and maybe not on this show, but just in my own perception of seeing comments online, have about this section. I'm not an SSPX partisan, but what truly astounds me is this reality. We've had this year bishops be put into place by Pope Leo who are openly pro-homosexual bishops. And yet, the biggest controversy about bishops this year will be the SSPX.
That does
My
seem
big
strange.
question is that it is very strange. And my big question, therefore, flows, and it's essentially this. If Pope Leo says ultimately in their final dealings no to the SSPX, while we know he has said yes to openly pro-homosexual bishops, this will be an indictment on the entire Catholic Church. Because unlike 1988, where there wasn't the internet, you were just most people were trusting the media in some form or fashion, whether written or digital back then. People have wised up to so much. They see the issues with the German bishops. They see the issue with the bishops in China being appointed by the Chinese government. And they see the issues with popes for quite a while now, promoting people who, let's just be honest, are in the list that St. Paul say are not inheriting the kingdom of God. And so if the Pope says no to this, the Catholic Church herself, in the eyes of everybody else, is going to have a lot of explaining to do.
What do you make of, I'm going to read this because this was interesting. And again, I'm linking to the actual interview with the Superior General of the Society of St. Pius X, when he was asked, what about your communication? Do you want to meet with the Pope? And he's like, I've been asking for the Pope for a long time. He says, quote, it seems extremely important to me to be able to speak with the Holy Father. And there are many things I would be happy to share with him that I haven't been able to write down. Unfortunately, the response I received from Cardinal Fernandez does not provide an audience with the Pope. Instead, it mentions the threat of further sanctions. It mentions the threat of further sanctions. And this is the part that again, like you, I'm not an SSPX partisan. I don't go to the chapel. I don't feel I needed to defend the SSPX. I'm sympathetic to their cause, but I'm not on the SSPX team, so to speak. And this bugs me to no end. It mentions the threat of further sanctions. Golly gee whiz, I would love to see the correspondence out of Vatican News, out of the Vatican, that says we've mentioned the threat to the German synodal way after they said, quote, they aim to reshape the ecclesial hierarchy and reinvent doctrine, openly challenging Rome's silent disapproval. They want female priests and deacons. They want female bishops too. They want the LGBTQ rainbow. They want it all. And they're not listening. They didn't listen to Francis. They don't seem to be listening to Leo. They seem to be going down this road to actual schism. But Nicholas, I'm told the SSPX is the problem that we must focus on. Seems bizarre.
Yeah, that particular line for me was also quite interesting. The reality is, if the SSPX are given more sanctions, whatever that would be, more excommunications, more restrictions on sacraments, what have you, it will be an indictment again upon the Catholic Church. Because, and this is one thing that a lot of people didn't understand in my last episode. I said that if Pope Leo was to condemn the SSPX but allow the Germans to go forward, it challenges the traditional apologetic. And I think a lot of people thought I meant the traditionalist apologetic, the traditionalist movement after Vatican II. That's not what I meant. The traditional Catholic apologetic, the apologetic that the Catholic Church gives the world, is we are the one true church founded by our Lord Jesus Christ. We don't change in doctrine. We don't change in the deposit of faith. The deposit of faith, of course, can be understood as it develops, but it never contradicts its core message, etc. Well, it's going to be hard justifying that to your average person in the street if they learn that the people who are just wanting to do sacraments according to the pre-Vatican II books are the ones who are being condemned, kicked out of churches, sanctioned, etc., and that the people who are promoting vices against the natural law, nothing's happening to them. That's a big indictment, because in the whole first millennia of the Catholic Church, you can read any theologian, East or West, it doesn't matter. They will all say, if you are in communion with heretics, you de facto become a heretic.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you do whenever it comes to the situation of Pope Leo in communication with the German bishops or your average lay person. I'm not an expert saying that therefore means Pope Leo's a heretic. I'm not saying that. But my point is the apologetic of please convert to the one true Church of Christ completely seems to fall apart if you're condemning people who are doing what the church has always done, while promoting or at least allowing to take place evil morality. It's something that's quite damaging, and that's why I think that there needs to be some serious looking by the Catholic faithful into what's going on.
So what do you make of the fact that Leo won't see him, though? Leo would see Father James Martin, who just went on the Colbert Show, spouting how Pope Leo, His Holiness, is all on board, just like Francis was with the LGBTQ, acceptance and all of that. I somehow doubt that sincerely. I actually don't believe Leo thinks that. I think Father James Martin is having a heyday with all this, and I think Pope Leo is allowing him to do it, which is bizarre to me. So if he's going to meet with people like, Cardinal Mahoney, for instance, he met with Cardinal Mahoney not all that long ago. The biggest payout in priest-sex abuse settlements in the history of Holy Mother Church, $400+ million. Could you imagine how much good could be done with $400 million? That was all paid out under Cardinal Mahoney. But he met with Mahoney not long ago, Arnold Schwarzenegger not long ago, and the list goes on. And I'm glad he meets with these people. He's the Pope. He should. Why wouldn't he meet with the SSPX? Seems bizarre.
It is truly bizarre. And this is, again, it's just, there's no other way to say it, but it's just a tragedy. It's a shame. It's a scandal because, again, for all of the young guys who are converting to the Catholic Church right now, I have all these comments in my comment section all the time. It's these hundreds of guys who are like, oh, I'm in OCIA class. I'm so excited to become Catholic because they saw some cool TikTok reel that supposedly debunked Protestantism. They're like, oh, yeah, we're part of this based medieval church. And then they show up and they see, oh, the Pope is actually refusing to talk to the people saying the Latin Mass. He's refusing to touch the Latin Mass issue. And in fact, all of these people who are predators or promoters of vice and degeneracy, they're the ones who are either being met with or not being condemned. I mean, the fact that we had a priest, an alter Christus, go on a secular program and give an appearance to the whole secular world that the Catholic Church is completely fine with homosexuality is a scandal. It is a scandal, and it is a true blemish upon what should be taught, which is the teaching of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so the fact that this is going on, this is why people should be outraged. I'm not saying, of course, you should be outraged in the sense of getting on your keyboard and committing sin by blasting people. But you should be grieved by this. You should see the evil in this, and this should hopefully lead you to prayer and further study of sacred scripture.
The Superior General in his interview, again, we're going to link to it in the show notes. He says that, just to recall, just to bring this to everybody's attention, probably most don't know this, but these bishops that they intend to ordain July the 1st, with or without Vatican approval, they will have no jurisdiction. And I think that's a fascinating point because the bishops that China ordains without Vatican approval have jurisdiction. The Vatican gives them their blessing after the fact, after they've been told, hey, by the way, we ordained these men. And the Vatican rubber stamps that because of that deal that they had that nobody knows what it's about. Whereas these SSPX bishops, they will never have jurisdiction. It's not the intent for them to have jurisdiction. They exist to ordain priests and to confirm Catholics. That's the extent of it. And they're not even the superiors of the fraternity itself. I find that interesting. So it's like, what exactly are we so opposed to here?
Truly, because they're there just to confer sacraments. That's the only reason they're there, is just to confirm sacraments. And again, the fact that it's so controversial while there's all of this other immorality going on is truly a scandal. That's why people have to wake up.
Yeah. Well, we're going to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue this conversation. Is this the same as 1988? I mean, the Superior General seems to think that the state of emergency is not only still here, the same as it was in 1988, but he suggests in his interview that it's actually worse, pointing to the Abu Dhabi agreement, that cryptic, ambiguous statement that Bishop Schneider had to go visit with Francis personally to clarify. That's one of his examples. So is it the same? Is it worse? Have things really changed? We're going to get Nicholas Cavazos to weigh in on that. Also, and I think more importantly, all we're going to do is debate this to we're red in the eyes. Have we just set back the debate 10 decades? I don't know. More coming. Plus your commentary all next.
Hi, this is David Fortin from Through the Fire. Please Please join Deacon Don Prendergast and me as we discuss the tools men need to build a domestic church and the spiritual weapons to defend it. It's an hour of traditional masculine spiritual direction that the woman in your life will appreciate too. Right here, every Sunday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern on listener-supported The Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, thestationofthecross.com, and worldwide on the iCatholic Radio app.
At the Station of the Cross, we understand that life circumstances can affect your giving options, whether by moving or by switching banks and credit card numbers. Please let us know if recent changes have been made to your payment information so that we can better serve you as you continue to bless us with your financial support. Update your information today at thestationofthecross.com or by calling 1-877-888-6279, extension 104.
Catholic radio has just been a lifesaver for me. I still listen to it every day. I start my day with it. I listen to it all day long as much as I can. I am very grateful for it.
It's just an amazing thing to have as I am new to Catholicism. Obviously, it's not only helping me, but it's helping so many other people on their walk.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Donate today at thestationofthecross.com.
The Catholic Current, bringing Christ to the world and the world to Christ.
You are worth my time. You're worth my undivided attention. God is blessing us by putting us together.
It's funny because people talk about quality time, and honestly, I think it's more about quantity time. But if you're actually engaged with them, whatever it is you're doing, you're spending quality and quantity time with them.
The Catholic Current, 5 p.m. Eastern, from the Station of the Cross and on the iCatholic Radio mobile app.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you. We're having a conversation about the SSPX Showdown at the Vatican. Looks like it's coming soon. The Superior General was hoping to meet with Pope Leo. Has been asking for it now for months, but instead he's going to get Cardinal Fernandez. You know, that astute theologian that runs the doctrine office, the chief inquisitor, the grand inquisitor, who apparently doesn't even like the Inquisition. Kind of Protestant, if you're asking me. But nonetheless, that's the deal. We've been talking with Nicholas Cavazos from the Traditional Thomist about his thoughts on the SSPX. Nicholas, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being on with us this afternoon. You know, I really feel like I'm not sure what has changed or what hasn't changed. I want to get your opinion on that. But I think more importantly, all we're going to do is debate this now endlessly online. It's now we're going to go right back to, are they in schism or not in schism? And it's like they want to meet with His Holiness and still people are going to accuse them of being schismatics. They just had a huge pilgrimage to Rome during this last Jubilee year. And thousands from all over the world made their pilgrimage to Rome, to St. Peter's Basilica, and they were allowed to say Mass there. I mean, it just seems like we're setting the whole argument back rather than, I mean, again, I'm not SSPX, but I want to see them in full communion. I want to see get the canonical irregularities cleaned up. I want to see one Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. And it seems like now we'll never see that. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree. It's just going to start a ton of e-drama, as I would like to say, just a lot of fighting online. Everyone all of a sudden turns into their own expert, quoting their own sources of who they want to admit or not. The thing I think is truly fascinating, though, is this. The people that will tend, and again, I'm with you, I'm not an SSPX partisan, but the people that tend to say that they are schismatic have a really warped sense of, I would say, their categories when it comes to theological definition. And what I mean by that is this. They oftentimes will call the SSPX Protestant, which is hilarious because if you are a Catholic in the 21st century, you, I would assume, hold on to the Second Vatican Council. And if you read the Second Vatican Council, you can see that Protestants are labeled as Christians, brothers and sisters in Christ by our common baptism, and that they have many good, redeemable qualities. And we've been, as a church, been praying with Protestants for the last 60 years. And so you see Pope Francis, when he was a young priest, you can find this in his autobiography. He's helped celebrate a Lutheran service for his Lutheran pastor friend that was gone one week. we just had a bunch of Lutherans and Protestants come to celebrate the Council of Nicaea, and they came to Rome, and there was prayers involved and stuff like that. So why are you going about calling the SSPX Protestants if Protestantism is no longer a bad word? So we have to first recognize that it doesn't make any sense anymore. The SSPX is not Protestant because by definition, to be Protestant, you have to hold on to one of the confessions of faith that came out of the Reformation. The SSPX doesn't. And in fact, the whole apologetic of the SSPX is that the Catholic Church today has become more Protestant-like than the Church of Trent. And so the reality of the situation is you can't be this ultramontane-based, trad Catholic who's just so loyal to the Pope that all of the base trad Catholics who don't agree with you are now outside of the church. I don't know. It's just a lot of cognitive dissonance of defending a system that's defending, bishops who promote homosexuality and then just trashing individuals as Protestants, even though your system says Protestantism isn't that bad. It's a weird world to live in.
It truly it is. Now, when asked the Superior General, hey, what happens if they excommunicate you again? Automatic excommunication, because it's debated hotly amongst canon lawyers whether or not they have the authority to consecrate, because the Superior General, the SSPX, claim they do, that there's a canon law that says in the case of emergency, you can do this. In fact, I'm also going to link to an article at the pillarcatholic.com, Bishops, Schism, and the SSPX. They actually go through the canon law issues related to the SSPX here, and they give an example of a Ukrainian Rite Catholic who consecrated a bishop without Vatican approval in order to ensure that the Ukrainian church would have a future. So that's the example in the Pillar. I'm going to link to it in the show notes for you at the top of the hour. But this is what the Superior General says to the question. He says, should such a fate befall us, the fraternity would certainly accept this new suffering without bitterness, just as it has accepted past sufferings, and would sincerely offer it up for the good of the church itself. It is for the church that the fraternity works. And it has no doubt that if such a situation were to arise, it could be only temporary, for the church is divine. Our Lord does not abandon her. By their fruit you shall know them. Again, I'm going to beat a dead horse here by just saying, I don't go to the chapel. I don't have any intention of going to the chapel. But they just, like, when you compare and contrast them to the German Synodal Way, which we did last segment, like these German bishops, they're like, we want female bishops and deacons and priests. We want LGBTQ, and we're going to get it no matter what. Like, there's clearly a different intention of heart going on in the German Synodal Way than in the heart of the SSPX. For whatever faults that they might have, I find it incredible that we would want to say they're the bad guys. And that of all the problems to solve right now in Holy Mother Church, we have to make this one the priority. It just absolutely makes my mind explode over it. It just seems so hypocritical, Nicholas Cavazos.
I agree. It's just truly amazing the amount of articles and attention that this has gotten over the last week, when we've just had so much more egregious things take place in recent years. It's one of those situations, again, as you were framing it, of you have on the one side German bishops who are saying, we will make a female priesthood, female bishops, we will change the teaching on homosexuality. And then there's these SSPX priests who are like, can we just have a bishop so that we can continue confirming people and doing ordinations? It's like, it just becomes a situation where you're like, I can't take this system serious. Dr. Peter Kwasniewski is a great guy. He posted one of my my Facebook rants the other day that I'm famous for, and I was talking about I got asked about my opinion about a lot of this stuff, and I just said, at this point, in a certain sense, I almost don't even care, because you have priests like Father Rupnik, who's not been punished, James Martin's not been punished, the German bishops, the Chinese bishops, none of these bishops are being punished. Right. The TLM is being taken away from churches all over the place. You can't put altar crosses up. You've had TLM sacraments been banned. I've been kicked out of churches just for going to the TLM. Not me personally, but our whole community. You've had all of this stuff go on in less than a decade's period. And then when you have a fraternity of priests who just wants to continue what's been always done, then it's a big controversy.
It's a big deal.
It's at a certain point the Catholic Church needs to recognize it's alienating its biggest supporters so much that eventually a lot of people will leave. That's one reason why we've seen so many people go to Orthodoxy or to Protestantism. And in a certain sense, you almost can't blame them, because the Catholic Church looks crazy. It looks like a crazy drunken man at the moment who's just like attacking the people who support it and then defending those things which are literally against its own teaching in the Catechism of the Catholic Church.
If they get a bishop, what changes? Nothing. Zero would change in the relationship between the Vatican and the SSPX. Literally, nothing else is going to happen. They just go on the way they are now. I find it interesting. It's not like if they get a bishop, things get worse. It's not going to get worse. Nothing actually changes in that relationship. With just about 60 seconds, I got to ask a big, huge question. And that is, if the SSPX claims to be loyal to His Holiness, how could they ordain bishops or consecrate bishops in disobedience to the Holy Father? I think that also needs to be asked. You got about a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer of it essentially is that ultimately, as you see in sacred scripture, you obey God more than you obey Christ. So if the deposit of the faith which saves people is being disunified or disillusioned, you need to do what's necessary in order to protect that. And so even if it's against the Pope's wishes, sometimes you need to do it in order to save souls.
Well, we're going to go into the after show, the live video feed, and we'll take your commentary. If you want to hang out and be a part of that conversation, you could do so at thestationofthecross.com/ACT. Click on that watch live video stream, and just underneath that, you will find all the links to YouTube, Rumble, and other places where you can comment, and we're going to read those comments live in the live video feed. Otherwise, we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning. Dr. Anthony Stein is back. It's Fridays with Stein. Praise be to God, and a lot more at Catholic Take. God love you. God bless you. And thanks for being on the team. Till then. So what did you think of today's show? Let's discuss that right now in the after show. Your take on the after take. Comment, interact live with me and the team. All you need to do is search for one of our live video feeds on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, LinkedIn, and elsewhere. Simply search for the Station of the Cross, Joe McClain, or A Catholic Take. I'm looking forward to seeing you and interacting with you directly. It all starts right now. It's the after show. Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome to the after show, everybody. I'm just trying to get everything set up here. I feel discombobulated. I got a new lens like 20 seconds before showtime today, so I feel like I'm totally off on everything. But nonetheless, we're glad everybody's on the team. Elizabeth, I promise I'm going to give you chapter 9 of the Book of the Apocalypse Bible study. In fact, chapter 9 is going to be a live. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live instead of all the. We're going to do the what's his name? Killing Kennedy.
Bill O'Reilly version.
Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. We're going to do it live. So I'm going to send an email. I just needed to get through this transition to the afternoons first. There was just so much between switching from mornings to afternoons that was occupying my bandwidth. And so once we get settled, maybe next week, this coming week, I promise I will. I'll send an email to the ACT insiders with all the details of what night and what time, and we'll do a Zoom chat. Everybody can be on, just like we did last year with the 13-part salvation history study. By the way, it is Mateus's birthday. ACT insider and plank owner from sunny California, Mateus Silva. And this is apropos music for someone from California. This is how I envision you right now, Mateus. I see you with some sort of a silk shirt, all unbuttoned with your gold chain, your chest hair, and you're just cruising down the street. You know, that's how I see you, brother. So hopefully you're having a great day on your birthday. Praise be to God.
First person to clip that gets $100.
From producer James. He's got all that producer James money. That's what it is. He can just afford to pay people off. Hey, Jay Paula, good afternoon. Praise be to God. Hey, Karen Collins, Auntie Shelley, praise be to Jesus. Glad you're on the team today.
You guys got your apple cider vinegar ready in case I screw up, and then you got to do shots of apple cider vinegar every time I say good morning instead of afternoon. Alan is on the team today. I did not. When did I say it?
You didn't say good morning, but you said at the end of the show, you said, I'll see you back tomorrow morning.
Did I really? Oh, no.
Yeah, you said the past 2 days.
Bottoms up, everybody. You're drinking apple cider vinegar shots until we figure this out. I should join. You should always lead from example. I should get my bottle and have it here ready to go just in case. I deserve it. It's my fault. Hey, Alan from sunny Canada. I don't know what is it, 17 below right now in Canada? I'm not even sure. But glad you're on the team today. Praise be to God. Loving the new time slot. I'm not sure I'm loving the new time slot, if I'm being frank. But
I'm loving it.
Because why? You get to sleep in like Gen Zers? I mean, you get to what do you wake up at noonish? And you play video games till 2 or what?
No, I'm just happy because it's like, oh yeah, I don't have to get up every single morning for Joe's show, at least every single Thursday morning. Oh man, getting up so early. There's no reason to. I'm just like, who's even up at this time?
Men are up at that time. Males. That's who gets out of bed. Like, come on now. Hey, Clayton Lee. Joe, fortunately, I've been sick this week and have been able to watch your show. I don't know what I'll do when I get well. Well, is it because you have to go back to work? Well, then quit your job, Clayton Lee. If your job is getting in the way of watching this show, then maybe we need to really, really reevaluate our priorities. You know what I'm saying? Good news is universal basic income is happening very soon, so we won't have to work. Coffee shots are much better. It's true, but there's less penalty involved. Who doesn't love coffee? But no one loves. Oh, it's too bad Nicholas Cavazos just got canceled from the show. That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear it. I guess he had to go, producer James, right? Like, I mean, that's wow. I should have asked that question, I suppose, when I was booking him. You're like, hey, do you like coffee? I should ask these questions.
How many cups of coffee takes you to get out of bed, Joe? Plus creatine.
Cups? Like that's cute. Cups. This cups thing, is that Latin for pitchers, or what are we talking about?
I don't know. It sounds like Latin for avoiding the question. How many cups do you get whenever you're?
I drink a pot. See, this is the appropriate dosage.
A pot.
Okay, a pot per morning shift. This is tea. I'm no longer drinking coffee. It would be irresponsible at this point. So this is tea. Afternoon tea, morning coffee. Elizabeth, I've got apple cider without the cider. Then what is it exactly? It sounds like apple juice at that point. That's not quite as painful. Okay, apple juice is equal to good. Apple cider is equal to painful. We were looking for the painful. Audacious. I live in LA near the Ordinary Form Parish, as well as the SSPX and the FSSP are all relatively close to me. Then you have a lot of options then, which is great. I mean, good for you. Praise be to God. And most people don't have that many options. If I wanted to go to the chapel, I would have to get in my car and drive literally an hour and a half from here, which I would never do under any circumstances. I take that back. No, I am wrong. There's an SSPX chapel 15 minutes from me. I lied to you. I'm sorry. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. There's actually one like right around the corner, which I never go to, by the way. But it's like literally right around the corner.
Now I know where you live.
Now you know exactly where I am. Yeah, I forgot about it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm just lying to everybody. Hey, Liz, Lizette, is that it? Lizette, it says that's not good. That's not good, Joe. What's not good? The lying part or the coffee part? Justin Dutcher. Listen to the show every morning at work. It's tough for me with the new time slot. See, Justin's got a good point here. It's hard for them in the afternoon. Coffee and ACT in the morning, nothing better. From your lips to God's ears.
It's hard for one guy who has a job, but another guy who has a job to quit it.
Okay,
I'm seeing
so
the consistency on this show.
in the morning, you can still be you can be employed and listen, but in the afternoon, you're going to have to be unemployed to listen. You see how that works? So it's better for them.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. D-Storm, there's an SSPX chapel on the way to your parish. Yeah, that's the one that's an hour and a half from me. That's way down there. I mean, you sneeze hard enough, you're in the Gulf of America at that point. I mean, it's pretty far down there. Damon, I don't like coffee. It tastes like burnt toast. What kind of coffee are you drinking, Damon? That's bizarre. Perhaps the problem is not coffee. Maybe it's the way you prepared it. I don't know. Matthias says he's still in his jammas. Okay, that's personal information we didn't need to know, but okay. There we go.
Send very personal information in the chat, and we'll talk about it.
No, we probably will. Jacob, you have the audio just fine. Well, okay. I'm scrolling backwards in the Telegram group, seeing who else is on. Paul, our good friend from Buffalo. Good to see you here. Praise be to God. Jane Steves, good afternoon to you. Michelle, good afternoon. Praise be to God. Sci-Fi from sunny Rochester, New York. Mary, good afternoon to you. Rebecca, praise be to God. Glad you're on the team today. Thanks for hanging out with us. By the way, some people were saying they were not able to rewind the live stream on YouTube. If you have any idea how to fix that, let us know, because we don't know how to fix it. We tried, we looked, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not sure how to make that work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure what causes that. Charles Rooks, 7280. Hello, Joe and Nick, and who from the beautiful sacred Black Hills of South Dakota. That sounds quite nice.
Okay.
You must have like mule deer. Do you have any? Are there elk in South Dakota? I'm jealous. I would like to live in a place like that. Instead, I live where I live. I don't recommend it. Cigar Mode. Good afternoon to you. Says SSPX reportedly sent a list of 12 to the Vatican. I was going to ask this. Nicholas, do you know how many are going to be consecrated? I thought there was going to be like 3.
I heard from a few different sources that I know that are inside of the SSPX that are very reliable that the number is 5. And that would make sense because if you think about it, it's doubtful that it would be less than Archbishop Lefebvre consecrated in 1988. It just doesn't make any sense because the society is so much bigger. But then number 2, you don't want to have an insanely high list of people who you say, yes, we're going to consecrate them, because then the bargaining chip becomes unrealistic when it comes to Roman authorities. Their announcement the other day was very clearly a political announcement. It was, let's force them to the table because Rome is not cooperating. And so I can't imagine them trying to put forward an insane list unless they were trying to do a kind of Donald Trump style of Art of the Deal, where you give them this insane first pitch, they freak out, and then you kind of whittle them back down to what you want them to do. So,
I just don't
but I've heard
understand
5.
why. You know, if it was good enough for the Soviet Union, if it's good enough for the CCP, why again can't they have the same deal with the SSPX? Like, submit the list, we'll approve 1, right? And then the Vatican gets the list, and they go, no, maybe, no. All right, we'll go with the maybe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly how they did it when Karol Wojtyła became a bishop. The Soviet Union had to approve his name on that list to submit it to the Vatican as potentials that they would approve of. It started with the Soviet Union, and then the Vatican went through the list and picked one out and approved it. Like, if that's good enough for communists, why isn't that good enough for the SSPX? I don't think you have to love the SSPX to come to that natural conclusion, it seems to me. Joe, it's the money, says Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's the money.
Is it the money? Is that what's the,
I think
the Legionnaires have more money than the SSPX. I think Opus Dei has more money than the SSPX. And Opus Dei just lost their bishop, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I think what it's really rooted in is if you approach it from a purely theological, ideological perspective, you'll only get part of the picture. Because from just a purely Orthodox Catholic perspective, you're just like, well, of course, why wouldn't you let them have a bishop? I think a lot of this has to do with politics, and particularly the politics of sexuality. And what I mean by that is, let's be honest, there's a lot of people inside of the Curia who are part of the Lavender Mafia who don't really like traditional things, and so have, in some form or fashion, to fight tooth and nail in order for traditionalism to be stopped. And so I think that's an element of it that people have to at least lump into this equation.
Angelique, good afternoon. Greetings from Hunt, Texas. Jane Steve, switch over to Facebook now. Does apple cider count? Yes, it counts. It'll burns going down. I can tell you that much. Have you ever drank an apple cider vinegar, Nicholas Cavazos?
I think I've had one sip before and rightly said this is disgusting and washed my throat down with a good A&W root beer.
You mean Barks? Got it.
Every time, people, that we talk about the Civil War, you have to drink a swig of root beer.
Yes. Wow, is that what we're doing? It's got to be Barks, though. If you're going to drink root beer, you might as well drink good stuff, not trash. So go for Barks. Hey, Rosie, 6046. Good afternoon to you, KZ2. Glad to see you in the Rumbles. Not many people in the Rumbles these days. I'm not sure why. I guess it's just in the new time of the show. Maybe it's not great for folk. I don't know. But glad you're here. Thanks for being on the team. Praise be to God for it. T-Storm, he said Dad's root beer incorrectly. Who said Dad's root beer incorrectly? You mean Barks? Is that what we're talking about? Jacob says 3 diocesan TLMs within 1 hour of me. Nearest SSPX is 2 hours away. Well, if you have 3 TLMs within 1 hour, you're doing really well. You're doing better than most in that regard.
We can probably figure out where you live.
Yeah, I know. So my problem is you guys know I want to move. We talked about that the other day. Like, if you're in that there's a sweet spot in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has so much to offer. Beautiful country, very country-esque, rolling hills, quite lovely. There's lots of deer, which is tasty. There's streams to fish in. Conservative, family-friendly, pro-life, low taxes. Great reasons to live in a place like that. Forget about the twisters for a second. Just ignore Hollywood for one moment. If you are east of Tulsa, halfway between Tulsa and Springdale, Arkansas, if you lived along that corridor someplace, you would be within an hour of 3 different TLMs. You'd have the Monastery Clear Creek, you would have the FSSP in Springdale, and you'd have the FSSP over in Tulsa, all to choose from. That's not a bad place to be either. It's not a bad place to be either. Oh. Jacob says, Owensboro, Kentucky. Kentucky is lovely country. Rolling hills. I drove through it in 2024, and it's like looking at the Shire. It's very Shire-like, Kentucky. It's beautiful country. More expensive. That makes sense from a tax perspective, though.
You drive through Houston, you feel like you're driving through Mordor, so I understand.
Houston is Mordor. That's 100% true. Hey, T-Storm says, he said A&W, you said Barks. Y'all are all just wrong.
Y'all are all just wrong.
She's just being biased. That's all it is. Says trying to get Joe to think about moving to southern Indiana, western Kentucky, two TLMs in Evansville. That is tempting. That is cheaper land prices. What are the taxes like, though? And isn't Indiana a purple state? I mean,
no, Indiana's a red state. It's red.
Is it red? Okay.
Yeah, last time that it got even close was in 2008. 2008, the Republican Party was just a nightmare, and so Obama did win Indiana, and then it flipped back, and it's been very, very red since then.
No kidding. We'll have to think about that then. Violet says, Joe, in Croatia, only 4 cities have the Latin Mass, and it's in SSPX. So are you saying in all 4 cities it's the SSPX that's the only provider of the Latin Mass there in Croatia? That's interesting.
I think that's right, yeah.
Hey, Charles says Chris Jackson is working on the long overdue autopsy post. I don't know what that actually means. The mortem on Vatican II. All right. We can all look forward to Chris Jackson. Hey, Yeah, Michael. Michael, is it Michael Johnson Jr.? Good day to you, my friend. Thank you for being on the team. Thank you for being a supporter. It means a lot to us. I'm really grateful to you. Says, Joe, I missed yesterday, but I have now set a reminder so that it won't happen again. Nick, I'm a big fan of your work. Keep fighting the good fight, my brother. Christus Rex.
Thank you, appreciate Michael. It, man.
Appreciate it. Praise be to God. Glad to have you on the team. And, again, if things like work or whatever is getting in the way, just quit. Just quit. So that way you have more time, more free time to.
Family, wife gets in the way, just get rid of her. I mean,
well,
you gotta put your
Jesus
priorities.
Did say
you gotta put your priorities straight.
Moses allowed us to put away for divorce, right? So I'm teasing.
And
don't do it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the wife causes the hardness of the heart because she won't let you listen to ACT, and so you just gotta put your priorities straight and be like, sorry, wife. Sorry, kids. Kids, I know you need new shoes, but
it seems nuanced, but the word that we read, fornication, in my Douay Rheims translation, it said, unless in the case of fornication, the Greek word there is the root for porn. So it's basically if things are pornified in your life, they're really perverse and out of whack, like not watching ACT on a regular basis, things of that nature. Stop fact checking. I can see you typing that into Grok right now. Don't do that.
Somewhere.
Just go with it. Don't fact check it. Just go with it. Elizabeth says, I've been taking volcanoes this week to my what? What is a volcano? Huh? Now you got me. I don't know what that is. They have apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, honey, and ginger in them.
Whoa.
Packs a wallop. Whoa. That was Clayton
Lee.
Lee.
Just drink fire.
It was Clayton
at that point.
That's rough, man. That's some serious stuff. Elizabeth says, just say producer James is missing because he has not said anything.
Working on producer the show James notes over here.
Is missing. By the way, he looks better today. The camera has been adjusted.
Oh, you mean it, Joe? Really? Me?
You look better. You look even more rich than you did yesterday. And yesterday you looked pretty rich. So
I want Joe just to grow back the full beard though, so we can actually get back to classic ACT. Until he gets back to that, the show is AI.
It would be better if it was AI. I wouldn't mess up and say good morning. I wouldn't fumble over my words or any of that. It'd be perfect if it was AI. Unfortunately, you're stuck.
I'm gonna make an AI reel of you later.
I was thinking about instead of a full beard, I was thinking about going more French-like and just like shaving this part, leaving this with a grow the handlebar and just leave some separation there. What would you say to that? That would be kind of stylish, no?
Only if you showed up for the next episode to debut that in a Civil War uniform, then I would say yes. But until then, the answer is no.
My kids want me to go full Burnside beard. I just can't do it though. Burnside had the ugliest Civil War beard ever.
Can you even grow that?
I could, sure. Why not? I can grow hair on my face. I just can't grow it on the top of my head. That's the only trick. But otherwise,
curse of old age, I guess.
Yeah, don't get old. Beardless Joe is the way to go. Thank you, Cigar Mode.
Heck no, Beardless Joe. Never creepy. Beardless. He's like 24. It's scary.
Let's see. Cigar Mode also says friends have said rural Virginia, Central Southwest is the best suggestion for getting some land. Access to both FSSP and SSPX. Well, Virginia's gone kind of woke. They just enshrined abortion up to birth, if I'm not mistaken, in their state constitution. Their governor, I think their governor is possessed by the devil.
You hear the tragic news about
good.
Arlington National Cemetery that came out today?
No.
Yeah, actually, I thought it might have been a good topic for you and I to discuss, but I think it's Senator Kaine is trying to push forward a vote where it will remove any and all references to Robert E. Lee from Arlington National Cemetery.
Oh, yes. I think I saw this. Yeah. I saw somebody posting saying Robert E. Lee was a gentleman and a statesman. You, however.
So true.
Oh, man. Robert E. Lee.
I'm so done with these people.
Yeah, I just don't think I can live in a state that's that out of their mind. Now, of course, states change. So you could move to a place. Like right now, Texas is changing. Texas is we've been blue Democrats in the past. We could certainly become that again in the future. So there's no guarantees of anything, but to move intentionally to a state that's out of its mind, worst taxes in the country, worst blue politics in the country, most woke communist mayors in the country, otherwise known as New York.
I knew that was coming. I'm like, oh, he's about to throw me under the bus here.
And you have 4 feet of snow? Well,
heck no.
Every week? I mean,
well,
what
when
do you
you
call
say
that?
it like that.
What do you call that? But I mean, okay. Mike K from sunny Virginia says, it is not enshrined yet. The voters will have to vote it in. Mike, do you think they will? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the question. If Virginia vote, if they sign off on it, it's just over. It's just over.
Kathy Hochul, what is she running for? Is she re-upping for governor in New York?
I think so.
James? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I believe that's the case.
Unfortunately,
her name makes
Mom
me
Donnie, I think,
physically
just
ill,
endorsed
so.
her. Right, Mom Donnie just endorsed her, if I remember correctly.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know.
100%. Karen, I like the small beard on Joe. Improvement from his full beard of olden times. Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Improved? Why are you lying to him? I thought Catholics were against lying.
Stop it. Don't be uncharitable. Karen is just telling the truth. She's as the kids, as your generation says, she's spitting mad facts. Okay, no cap. So, don't give her a hard time. Mike says, "I'm moving out if they continue on this path."
Nobody says that, by the way. I just want to be the
all
one
of
to,
you say that. Are you
Nobody
kidding
says
me?
that.
You're like
you're
in between Fortnite sessions, going, low key. This is
2015.
based.
Yeah, what is this? Like,
I don't even know.
I feel like James and I are dying over here from secondhand embarrassment. We're like, what the heck is Joe saying?
Fortnite, brother? You think I play Fortnite?
What video games do you play if it's not Fortnite?
What do you play on, the little telebox thingy, whatever they call it?
Are you on the YouTubes these days?
Yeah, right.
YouTubes. Oh man, don't get me started. Good grief. You just triggered me. I'm gonna avoid it though. I'm not gonna bite. You tried. I see what you're doing there. You tried to get me to go off, and I won't do it. Hey, Jacob says Kentucky is going down the tubes too. 2 terms of Steve Beshear and 2 terms of Andy Beshear. Wow. So
and
where's the safe place to live?
1 billion terms of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, he never dies, does he?
No,
He
he's
just will not
immortal.
die.
He's immortal, for sure.
Nicholas says, is Fortnite the favorite game of Thomas? What are we talking about? Just joined. Exactly, Nicholas. Thank you for making my point even clearer.
I would say the favorite game of Thomas is Skyrim because all Thomas channels like to put Skyrim music in the background of their videos.
I think Thomas Aquinas would puke to hear that you're playing video games. That's what I think. I think he would throw up.
I think Thomas Aquinas would say, no, this is part of the virtue of eutrapelia. You need to calm down, Joe.
No.
That's what he would say. He'd say,
no
you need
way.
to calm down.
No way. Conjure him up right now. I want a definitive answer on this because there's
What am I? Do I look like the woman in 2 Samuel conjuring up Samuel from the grave?
Yeah, well,
Aquinas, are you on hold, please?
You love the South, and the governor of Virginia is possessed by a devil. She's in the South too. I'm just connecting dots. That's all. I'm just saying. Could be related. Sci-fi
So
says
true.
Fortnite was surprisingly entertaining, though I never played it myself. I like that. I like that little.
I never played it either.
That little virtue signaling there, Sci-fi. That was perfect. You did a good job with that one. Talk about Bitcoin. What's going on with that? Well, besides dropping in value, I don't know. I don't follow crypto. I have a friend from church who's like, Joe, you gotta buy crypto. And he's not telling me to buy Bitcoin. He wants me to buy Ripple Pay. And he's like, Joe, this is going to be the future of how transactions happen. We're going to get away from Swift. We're going to move towards Ripple Pay. Get in on Ripple Pay now. I haven't the slightest clue what even that means. I don't even know. I don't follow the crypto market. I tried day trading last year. Pretty much lost everything I tried. It was like I'd be up. I'd be like, yes, I've got it. I am the master. The next day I lose the whole darn thing. It's like this. I'm so done with it. I'm just done with it. So I don't take financial advice from me. That's the best thing I can offer you. I don't know.
Meanwhile, the gold standard people over here were just like, dang, it's so over.
Well, hold on. Didn't gold drop too recently?
It did.
Gold
Yeah,
down?
was it last week or something?
Yeah, gold's down too.
No.
Who was it? It was Dr. Stein. He says he buys silver Vatican coins. Finds them online, buys them and stocks them up.
Vatican coins.
He must have like a big safe or something. I don't know. Silver plummeted? What?
Silver plummeted too. Yeah.
Move to Southeast Indiana, Joe. I'm moving to there in a few weeks or so myself. Wow. Now I'm going to go back and look. We should do a live. This is what we should do. We should do a live session of Zillow hunting. That's what we got to do. We should just scroll through Zillow as a community.
The cutting edge program that you all wanted to see.
Right.
Zillow
That's
shopping
People
with
have been
3 grown men.
That's right. Give me your best Zillow advice. Because I'm determined at some point I'm going to make an offer on property somewhere. And I'm going to totally ignore whatever price they have listed in the listing. I'm just going to ignore it completely and then make an offer based on what I think that land is worth and just completely ignore that they're asking for double.
If I can see you anywhere in the world, Joe, I can, even though it's kind of pricey around the city, but I could see you like around Tyler, Texas. I could see you in like that kind of rural environment.
That's the top spot on our list is Tyler.
Hey,
Texas.
there we go. That's what I was thinking.
But Texans in Tyler are very proud about their land, and they basically think their land is made of gold because they're charging like crazy amounts of money for acreage up there.
It can't be as much as Central Texas. Central Texas people, it's just nuts
Snobs.
over here.
Total snobs.
It's nuts over here.
Mike K says, my senators are knuckleheads, both of them. They make Ted Cruz look like a genius. I don't know, man. You'd have to really go out of your way to make the biblical scholar Ted Cruz look like a genius, I would say.
It's so sad because it's like, in our state, we have that James Tallarico guy who's running for the Democratic primary candidate for senator. And he's not running against Cruz's seat, he's running against Cornyn's seat. But it's like, I don't like Cruz or Cornyn, but I literally just vote for these guys at this point just to keep these insane freaks out of office. And it's just so bad.
Are you in favor of term limits?
I honestly don't know. And the reason I said that is just because on the one hand, there's a good argument to be made for it because, you can get fresh blood in there and you don't want someone to end up becoming an eternal bureaucracy like we've seen. But on the flip side, you can very easily make the argument that if it's the people who are electing this person to represent them, then they have that right to do so regardless of how many terms. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what I believe on it. I see good arguments on both. I know Reagan didn't like term limits. And so
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I feel like if you get elected to public office, you shouldn't come home richer than when you went. So
I agree.
If that's the trend, then there's something wrong about the system, and we have to limit that impact somehow, some way. I liken it to many years ago when I was in corporate America, International Logistics. I worked for a company that owned the Houston Astros, and we did business with Walmart, and we would you'd send all these vendors would like big vendors. I'm talking like Disney or, people like that, big, huge companies. They would send people to work at corporate Walmart. It was their people, their employee at a desk at the Walmart headquarters. That's how much business they were doing together. But they'd have to switch that person out every 6 months because at the end of the 6 months, that person was so given to the Walmart philosophy and mentality that they essentially work for Walmart, no longer work for their main company. So they were always swapping these people out to keep them, hopefully representing their best interests. And I kind of feel like that way about politics. When we send them to Capitol Hill, it's no longer Mr. Smith goes to Washington. They're getting rich. They want to stay there for 40 years. Mitch McConnell never goes away. These people they die in their offices. It's like, it's ridiculous. Something's got to give. Something has to give.
Yeah.
It just feels broken, the whole system. Jacob says, I wish our TLM would do the same thing in Evansville. We have the Benedictines of Mary, for goodness sakes, and yet I'm the sole server there almost every Sunday. They also have a weekly diocesan TLM, which soaks up the servers. Mike K says, I'm in favor of congressmen making the minimum wage and meeting in D.C. July, August, September in an un-air-conditioned Capitol building. Their accounts would have to be closely monitored and they would not be allowed to invest. Exactly. Make it so that they're there to do business on the people's business and nothing else. Like, don't make it comfortable for them. Don't give them cozy little apartments and all this other stuff. Make it so that they have
to street.
That's probably extreme, but okay. I
don't hate it.
Make them sleep on the street and then they can go in and vote.
Could you imagine? Who would want to be? No one.
It would be. It would be kind of funny, but honestly, with because Congress is a nursing home, it would be kind of like elderly abuse at this point, being like, sleep on the street, old person, and then go in to vote. But I heard it once said that if there were term limits, because these individuals are having to go back to the private sector, they would try to be approving the private sector so much more because they would be, in that world after their terms were done. But it's also, like I said today, on my very niche Facebook page where I'm just talking about the Civil War 24/7 now, I said the reality of the situation is living in a post-1865 world where our government is very Hamiltonian and Lincolnian. We look to Washington to solve all of our political issues as opposed to looking to our own state legislatures to change political issues. And unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. I mean, and so we can chime in all day about, we got to get involved in local civics and local politics. That's all good and true, but recognize that ultimately changed in 1865, and that's the reason we focus so much on Congress.
Yikes. Elizabeth says, I can't afford a gun. Seems so silly to buy ammo. Buying ammo is fantastic. It's a great investment. I have a lot of ammo. I could use a lot more, though. And you can afford a gun, trust me. Guns are not that expensive. They're very approachable. My kids bought me a 9mm for Christmas, as a matter of fact. It only cost, I want to say it was like $200 some, maybe, brand new. And I got the Turkish SAR. It's a great handgun. It's a sport version, so it's kind of big and bulky, but it's actually feels fantastic in the hand. Shoots really nice. Got a laser sight for it as well, so it's super space agey and amazing. But they're fun to shoot, and if you get to the range often, then it can be pricey. But if you got acreage in your backyard, then you just shoot in your backyard, and then it becomes more affordable easily. And
I can totally see. I was going to say I can totally see, Joe, just like in 17th century, just going to the British court and being like, "Here's the brown bess, Your Highness. Let me show you all of the ins and outs of it." So, really good. Accurate up to 30 yards. Muzzle loader, very, very good. Flint, steel.
Just
takes
close
at least
your
a solid
eyes
minute.
when the flint hits the powder. Close your eyes. You don't want that stuff going off in your eyes.
And Joe was there covering the Boston Massacre, and covering the Boston fight. He was covering it all for ACT back then. And
True.
so he got
that was amazing. I was a
firsthand
Freemason in those days. That's the only. It was that was the thing. It was really Boston Tea Party. Was really just an activity of the
all big Catholics these days are Freemasons. Let's just be honest. So,
was that a fat
that's
joke?
what the tragedy
Did you just call me fat? What? Did you, did
Someone
you
call
see
you
that,
fat.
James? He was like, all fat Catholics. That's what I just
I
heard.
don't think that's what he was.
That's what he said. You heard him. He said that. Like, wow. Just. Whew. I'm just teasing.
We all know, Joe, you've been on your weight loss gain for 40 years now. You'll catch up. You're almost there, buddy.
40 years. I'll get there someday. Hey, Nicholas says, as asking whether or not I've ever eaten a buttered Oreo. No.
What is a buttered Oreo?
No, butter is fantastic. I do like butter, and I used to like Oreos. That was the problem, was I liked them too much. You can never have just one. the package was the bare minimum amount. That was
it's
the
like
problem.
crack.
It is like crack. It's like Hunter Biden with a crack pipe. You can never get enough of it.
Exactly.
That's the downside of. But honestly, my kryptonite was always chocolate covered peanut M&Ms.
Really?
I can only buy the 2-pound bag. Honestly, it was just.
I used to buy them by the barrel, but I've cut back as a good
I don't
Catholic
buy them
Mason.
at all now. I don't buy them at all now. I don't think there are any Latin masses in Wyoming. Are there any Latin masses in Wyoming? I can check on that for you.
No, I know of them. They are underground, not publicized, which again goes to show you the state of the church these days. But it's so sad. Everyone you're talking about in the chat, you're all talking about how, there's this Latin mass here, Latin mass there. I used to be the guy who's looking around the states, figuring out, okay, where's my Latin mass going to be for where I want to move one day? And I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm not even going to look anymore just because I don't even know if it's going to be there. Maybe that's like a black pill take. So I would say try to find a place where there's good community, obviously good liturgy as much as possible.
There is a Latin mass that's official in Wyoming. It's at the Wyoming Catholic College.
I don't know if that's still around though. Thing.
I've
heard from Dr. Peter King that's not there.
Really?
It depends on how old your reference is.
Well, I'm looking at the map at latinmass.com. And there's a map there. I would highly encourage everyone to check out the latinmass.com.
It's an okay-ish map. I've emailed them like 4 or 5 times because sometimes they've said like the Ordinariate is the FSSP. I'm like, there's all these new FSSP chapels everywhere, when in reality there's not. So it's kind of an interesting map.
They're listing Wyoming Catholic College on the map, but they don't actually give us a mass time. So maybe it doesn't exist anymore. So I can't say for sure. But that's the only thing I see in Wyoming right now on the map.
I'm so confused because Twitter and Instagram tells me that there's just Latin masses everywhere. And just when you go to mass, all the guys are dressed as crusaders and it's just an epic based reel everywhere. I'm so confused. What's going on?
Well, I don't know. There are lots of traditional Latin masses in this country. We're very blessed. There are lots of options, but unfortunately, they're just in pockets, oftentimes in bad neighborhoods or way out, and it just becomes, because of all the vitriol from these modern bishops, they have really tried to push these communities to as far away as possible, and it's become very difficult. I know, like in New Hampshire, our friends up in New Hampshire that go to the FSSP, it's like some of them are driving 3 hours to get there on a Sunday. That takes commitment, and they're willing to do it.
Driving in New Hampshire for 3 hours, though, is different than driving in Texas for 3 hours, because you got like beautiful trees, you got historic buildings. Texas driving for 3 hours is like, cool, you see the same 5 stores I-35 over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
you're just like, what is going on here? Have you seen the SSPX chapel in my neck of the woods, Joe, in San Antonio? Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never been. I heard it's on the bad side of town.
It's in a rough side of town. It's next to an apartment complex that advertises $40 a month for rent, and there's a reason for that. It's not because they're just great, not because they have the generosity of pouring out of their heart or something like that. You walk in the church. It was an old Korean Baptist church that the SSPX acquired, I think, in 1976. It doesn't look like it's been updated since then. There are windows that literally are barred and they look into nothing. They look into other like bricked up wall. It's so depressing. It's so sad. I'm just thinking that, like the Central Texas community, it's so big. There's evangelical church, mega churches everywhere. There's so much growth happening here. And there's not one place in the entire 2 dioceses where the traditional Latin Mass can be just in a beautiful church. Not one place.
Isn't that something? Hey, Chesty, Semper Fi, brother. Praise be to God. Chesty won the very last ACT Bingo morning show game. Thanks for being back on with us. Chesty says, I'm driving, but the Carmelite monks near Cody, Wyoming have daily Latin Mass, but you have to have permission due to the fact that it's a cloistered community.
That makes sense.
So I don't know what that requires. I mean, maybe it's probably a small chapel maybe, and there's only so many people who are allowed in. How does that actually work? I don't know.
Probably
I was
you
looking
can't be a Mason.
Well, you can't be fat Catholic Mason, so I'm out.
Can't be fat.
I was looking at land in Missouri, in southern Missouri, 25 minutes from the Benedictine Abbey. That's the sister community to the Gower Benedictines. They have a high mass every Sunday, praise be to God. So that would be quite nice. And it looks like a big church, so probably can accommodate quite a few people. Reminds me a lot of Clear Creek Abbey in Oklahoma. Catholic chiropractor Nick, groundbreaking for the new St. Joseph is coming in the next few months. Where is the new St. Joseph's?
Chiropractor
Is that the San Antonio community?
It is, yeah. It's the it should be in Schertz, Texas, and the actual plans for it look pretty nice. It's taken forever for it to get reported.
Give me a sense of the geography. I was under the impression that the current location is south of San Antonio. Where is it now?
No, if you're looking at a map of San Antonio, it's going to be northeast, just outside of town.
So, okay, because I guess the town I grew. That's where I grew up. Converse, Universal City, Pat Boca Road, Live Oaks, all that over there. So I went to Judson High School. So you're saying that the SSPX is over there already? So
yeah,
it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's in Schertz, and it's really close to the Air Force Base that's there. And it's going to be,
Randolph.
it looks from Randolph.
That's
Yeah,
where
it looks
I grew
like
up.
it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm just surprised that you claim that you grew up there. I thought you grew up in Ur of the Chaldees, but it's whatever. I got confused, I guess.
Listen, just because my uncle is Abraham does not mean, okay, that I was hanging out with Lot and Lot's wife. You know, those were good times. I try not to remember them too much, but whatever.
Little salty times. I get you.
Old salty times. Obi-Wan, good afternoon to you. Jake doesn't have his morning glow anymore. You mean James or Jake?
Rough crowd.
Yeah, look at
You guys respect James.
He does have a glow.
All Jake brought to the table.
Glowy.
All Jake brought to the
What do you
table was just like niche facts about his town. He was like, "Hey, Millard Fillmore is buried here." I'm like, "Cool, great." I don't know.
Dude, it's Millard Fillmore, greatest president ever. I mean,
We talked about that. He is the greatest president. He opened Japan, the only thing he's known for, by really
totally
niche history
edges
nerd
out
work.
Abraham Lincoln, right? I mean, like, he just barely beats
everybody
Lincoln,
does.
but yeah, I don't know. Everybody thinks Lincoln's the greatest ever. I don't know why that is. Based on what information
they're
do they
public
say?
schools.
Like, just because he won the war and 600,000 casualties as a result makes him great? Like, how many people does one have to kill before you are great? What's the number exactly? Just curious.
He is overrated. The more and more I study, particularly like pre-1861 conflict, and you look at the platform of the Republican Party at the time, you look at what he was mechanizing behind the scenes as Buchanan has his last month in office, the more and more I'm just like, oh boy, this guy wanted to be president of all the states, no matter what, at all costs. And so I say that with, like, you know, as much neutral respect as possible. You guys already know my thoughts, but I try to be historian. But yeah, it's rough.
It's rough. Mike says the worst three in order: Woodrow Wilson, FDR, Abraham Lincoln. Whew. Wow, he puts
I was
Abraham
thinking
Lincoln
Biden was going to be in that
behind
list, but
Woodrow
whatever.
Wilson. Just because Woodrow Wilson was a communist does not mean he's all that bad.
Honestly, I'd say Woodrow Wilson was better than Biden. Not gonna lie, he was at least
Well,
effective.
that's not fair. I mean, Biden
No, it's
wasn't
completely
actually
fair.
the president. Barack Obama's third term. You can't hold it against Biden. Okay, listen.
I would say Woodrow Wilson was better than Barack Obama. So
That's probably true. Hey, Sci-Fi, are you not counting modern presidents? Well, we just did. So there you
yeah,
go.
I count presidents. That includes modern presidents. So I still think the best one is George Washington and Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge?
Yeah.
Why?
Calvin Coolidge
Why
is great.
Calvin
He's-
Coolidge? What about
Calvin
Hayes?
Coolidge, honestly, especially post Hayes is pretty cool. But Calvin Coolidge, especially post 1865, He was the president who he's from the North, but he wanted to root America back into a small government mentality. And he was the first one in quite a while to reintegrate the idea that the Declaration of Independence is one of our founding documents. Up to that time, it was kind of, it was kind of skirted off to the side at that period. And so a lot of his policies are very paleoconservative. And so if you talk to young right-wingers today, he's loved. Calvin Coolidge is loved. Even though he's not a president, Pat Buchanan, of course, is loved. And people should go and read Pat Buchanan. He's super based.
Super based. Man, oh man. Cigar Mode. Joe didn't grow up in Constantinople. I was there when it was founded. Man. Okay.
I was there with the Chaldees.
With Constantine. We were standing on the on the edge of the Bosporus, and we're like, you know what? You know what, Connie? He said, what, Joe? I said, right here. This is the spot, buddy. You need to found your new Rome right here. And the rest, as they say, is history. That's how it all went down. Don't fact check it. Don't put it in grok. Don't even look at it. Hey, how is Mystic Monk coffee? I like Mystic Monk coffee. I think it's very good. Hey, S. Medrano. Hey, welcome to the team. Good afternoon. Says, I'm from Texas. Praise be to God. You get an extra bump for being from Texas. We love Texans here. Have wonderful salt priest. I used to be really good friends with Father Sam Medley back in the day when he was first there, early, like in the 2008, 2009, 2010. Those were good times hanging out with Father Sam Medley. Enjoyed that a lot. And I haven't been to their chapel in a very long time, but for a Novus Ordo parish, it's a beautiful chapel. It's a beautiful. They've got a lovely. I don't know what's the technical name for it with the wall of the saints. I forget. There's a technical liturgical furniture like name for it, and I forget what it's called, but it's
like Anastasis or something like that.
No, it's not like Greek Orthodox where you have the wall of icons. This is a wall that's behind the altar. It almost be in traditional Latin Mass world, it would be a part of the altar, super high altar. It's probably 14, 15 feet tall. And you've got niches. It's gold leaf. All of it's gold leaf. Okay. It's bright and beautiful. And you've got niches for saints, and they've got a ton of saints in there. And it's lovely. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, they have the Bugnini table right in front of it, but otherwise, it's quite lovely. Gregory, at least Lincoln was not born in Africa. How do you know, Gregory? Exactly. Were you there when he was born? I was.
You knew who was born in Africa, though? All Italians.
Somalia. All Italians. And Portuguese. My wife's Portuguese. Lots of Portuguese in Africa, too. Shamus, good afternoon to you. Wilson had the KKK movie played at the White House. The first movie played at the White House, he had also, or something along those lines.
He's talking about Birth of a Nation.
What was the movie KKK?
What he's talking about is that Woodrow Wilson played one of the first screenplays ever. It was the first screenplay in the White House. It was called The Birth of a Nation. It was basically just like you could say like a post-1890s American perspective on Reconstruction. So it showed some of the Deep South, some of the Civil War, the horrors of Reconstruction, and it portrays the first Arab Klan as basically a chivalrous organization that was fighting back against the carpetbaggers and the scallywags. And
is that before they started hanging Catholics?
Well, I think they were always hanging Catholics, just like Catholics were always burning Protestants, and then all of a sudden started loving Protestants, but calling the SSPX Protestant. I don't know. I get confused on the timeline.
You're falling out of the black pill tree again, hitting every branch on the way down. There's no way we were burning down Protestant churches. There's no possibility of that. Hey, by the way, Jeff Burrier, there's one for Genevieve. Thanks for being from Texas. Praise be to God. Genevieve, good afternoon. Glad you're on the team. William Jones. I was so glad when Levin screechingly slagged Pat Buchanan. It surpassed my low opinion of, is this Mark Levin that we're talking about? And confirmed my high opinion. Mark Levin. Yeah. Your high opinion of Pat. Almost got to meet Pat. God rest his soul.
Wow, he's still alive. He's not dead.
Pat Buchanan's not dead. Come on now.
He's not dead. You should try to have him on the show. I'm going to try to have him on my show.
Well, hook me up, Pat Buchanan. Are you sure he's not dead?
I'm positive.
I got a fact.
Unless he died within the last couple days or month or
Oh
something.
no, you're right. He's alive. He's
I
87.
told you.
So he's no spring chicken.
You should have that interview quick.
Yeah, real quick. I don't know. We'll have
He'd
to
be an
see. I
epic
don't know anybody
interview.
who
I'm
knows
gonna
him.
try to have him for mine. Like he is like the prophet of our era, if you will, when it came to politics from the bygone past. The young right
Is
loves
he
him.
still sharp as a tack?
Yeah, and
When's
he's
the last time
super
you
based.
saw him
There's
in
that
something?
photo that keeps spreading around of him on the internet with it's like an old Patterson revolver and Robert E. Lee's behind him in a big picture. Everyone just shares that image. It's great.
Wow. Hey, Alan.
More American than Warren Donnie.
Alan, you gonna hook me up with tickets to the Fulton Sheen Beatification Mass? Bro, have passport, will travel. Where Illinois is a different country, man. I'm just telling you. I'd love to go. I would. Well, yes or yes. You don't have to get me to say no to that. I would absolutely love to be there for the beatification of Archbishop Fulton Sheen. That'd be pretty amazing. Do a live show from there.
He knew him, so it'd be great to have a lot of fond memories come back for Joe.
Oh man, I tell you, William Jones, 6971. I think Pat has retired. He hasn't published an essay in several years now. Man,
yeah.
Well, Alan, we'll have to have you on to talk about the beatification for Fulton Sheen. That'll be good to do. Cigar Mode, thanks for hanging out. Says, did you bring enough to share with everyone? Tickets all. Everyone gets tickets. You get tickets. I get tickets. By the way, Paul wants me to run for mayor of Buffalo. I'll do that on one condition, Paul. I as a part of the deal, I have to be granted an unlimited supply of buffalo wings. Okay, that's the only way I'll do it. Is if I get a pass. So yeah, I get as many buffalo wings as I can possibly eat from all restaurants in Buffalo. Okay, there can be no exceptions to the rule. If I can't get that, then I'm not interested.
Did we take you for wings the last time you were in town, Joe?
No, you have never taken me for wings.
I remember we
Not
went
that
to
I'm
some
bitter.
like Greek
Not that I'm keeping
restaurant
a
or
record
something?
of it, but I've just never. I've been up there a bunch of times, and not once has anybody there taken me out for buffalo wings.
See, but now you're in good hands with me. That was just Jake not taking care of you, you know?
Or my boss, or or anybody else. But whatever. Not that I'm actually paying attention or keeping a record of it. No. Mm-mm.
We start with the clean slate this year, all right?
Is that what it is?
What's
I'll be
behind
up
us
there.
is behind us.
Oh, it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Not in Buffalo. It's ice. Okay, it's ice under the bridge, and it doesn't move. It just sits there.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
I will be in Buffalo April.
Was it at the last week of April?
April, yeah, I think so. It's going to be April 20. I don't have it on my calendar. I think it's April 27th.
I believe it is, yeah.
So that'll be fun. Producer James and I in the same room at the same time, so you know we are for sure not the same person.
And we can prove that Jake and I are not the same person either.
Can we? I'm not sure that's true, but okay.
We'll make it happen.
Find out. We'll
I
find out.
don't know. James seems more chill than Jake. Jake's always just like, here's some random trad fact to show how trad I am.
We balance
James is
each
like-
other nicely.
Yeah, James
For
is just
sure.
like, I'm chill. I do my work.
Pretty much. It's an interesting dynamic.
I like how people are debating or discussing like past presidents. I mean, that's amazing. I'm impressed that they know that.
Boneless wings or chicken nuggets, by the way. Whoever asked that, I see that comment.
Are boneless wings still wings, or are they chicken nuggets? So you're saying that boneless wings would be in fact chicken nuggets by definition. Is that what you're saying?
It's a chicken nugget that desperately wants to be something else, but will never be anything but a chicken nugget.
I don't know. Easier to eat, right? Like no bones. I don't have you just shovel faster, right? You don't have to like stress about it.
One of the benefits of chicken wings, though, you got the bones.
Yeah, exactly. They're not even the same thing.
Is it because they're handles and just easier to eat? I mean, but then you just use a fork and you can just, fork them as fast as you want.
You can fork them as fast as you want. Gobble down all that chicken.
As Holy Roman Emperor, I think I would legislate no bones in buffalo wings. I think that's what I would do. I would just mandate it.
Talking about most useless dictation ever. Come on, Joe. What kind of country is this?
Joe, I'm trying to save you from embarrassment.
It's called real leadership, Nicholas. It's called real leadership. Dealing with real issues in a real way. That's what that's called.
What is the IQ of your country, if that's real leadership?
My country, it's the Holy Roman Empire. It's all countries, not my country. It's all countries.
Is it like 80 IQ?
I would just be the steward of said countries. Hey, Elizabeth, good afternoon to you again. Someone was given, it was Cat Cans, it was giving cigar mode major plugs here. Says he's an officer and a gentleman in the chat box. I would agree. Cigar mode's always awesome to have on the team. We're grateful to have him here. The Catholic chiropractor says boneless wings are just chicken nuggets. Facts.
Amen.
Real wings usually have better flavor. Sometimes kids dislike the texture, though, says Cat Cans.
Yeah, we clearly have a kid on show right now.
Only boneless chicken wings, but the celery and carrots are mandated as a side, says Shamus. Oh boy, we've really started a new argument here. We're never going to see the end of it. Nathaniel,
why do we always get to food?
Joe, I'm just letting you know that if you come to Buffalo in April and order boneless wings, you will be made fun of. So I'm trying to save you the embarrassment.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Not necessarily by me, although
now,
I won't guarantee that.
The very first time I ever spoke at the Buffalo Men's Conference, which was 18 odd, I forget. It was like 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. I spoke at the Buffalo Men's Conference for the first time, and they had the courtesy of taking me to the home of the Buffalo Wing, the original OG Buffalo Wing.
Please tell me they didn't take you to Anchor Bar.
They did.
Oh,
take me to
Joe,
the
that's
motorcycles.
That's like the worst
everywhere.
wing in Buffalo.
No way.
I swear to you.
Coolest place ever. Had the greatest ambiance.
Dear. Yeah, I'm taking you for wings to a good wing place. Consider it done.
And although I have met Sci-Fi Mike in person, still I've never had a garbage plate. That's the level of that lack of charity that super fans have for me.
It's more of a Rochester thing.
I know, he didn't even bother to bring me one.
They are amazing though, I will say.
Hey, Michael Allen Johnson, you are amazing. God bless you. Thank you for being an insider. You are so awesome. Thank you for that. Really, I appreciate your support. Bruce Wayne is in the chat today. Finally catching you in the afternoon before I head out for confession. Wow, see, there's a Catholic right there. Finally, one Catholic in the chat box. Going to confession.
I thought Bruce Wayne was going to say before I go out to work and throw in some bad guys.
No, I'm going to confession. He's going to confession.
Yeah, confession. Okay, yeah,
Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I killed yet another guy.
I've been smoking a ton.
Was he a bad guy? I don't know. I lost track. Doesn't matter anymore. A buffalo turkey wings. Can you do? No. It doesn't. It's no longer a buffalo wing if it's turkey, right?
Never
It's
heard
got to
of
be.
that, yeah.
It's got to be a chicken. I think we all agree it has to be a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not get too twisted here. Definitely has to be a chicken. Spicy wings are the best, says Audacious. Elizabeth says, okay, James is definitely not Jake because he would be talking about taking Joe for haggis. Not. Yeah, notice. Okay,
Probably true.
I'm not connecting dots right now, but I'm just saying Big Haggis hasn't shown up all week long. I can't tell you why. I just know that Big Haggis has not been here all week long.
Jake would take you to some place, get a tweed suit. You guys go sniff brandy somewhere while beautiful Catholic organ music is playing. That's what Jake would do. This guy's going to take you to a good wing place. That's all I've heard.
Can I don't tell anybody I said this, but I hate the organ. It's just not the proper instrument for this holy.
See, Freemason. We all knew it. We all knew it. Freemason
it's
and
just, I just don't get why. But Joe, it sounds just like the vocal box of a human being. No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound anything like the vocal box of a human being. It's like it's like Phantom of the Opera stuff. Like no human being sounds like that. How is that better? How is that better than the violin? How is that better than the cello? How is it? I just
Tell us
don't
how you
understand.
really feel.
Oh, how I really feel is you need to pull that banjo off the wall there, son, and lay down a lick for us. I mean, that's how I really feel. But Yeah. Send your Zelle payments to Nicholas Cavazos at Never Gonna Play, Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down. All right, Garbage Plate Run on the 27th. That's what I'm talking about, Sci-Fi. Garbage Plate Run on the 27th. We're going to Rochester for a live Garbage Plate Run. Praise be to Jesus. All right, guys, God bless you. Dr. Anthony Steindl will be here tomorrow afternoon. Until then, God love you.